Hi, my name is Charles. Today we'll be going over challenging concepts for Module 11. We're inside of Visual Studio Code, and this is the concepts MD file. I'm just going to go over some of the concepts that I had challenges with. The three challenges that I had were testing with mocks, MVC controllers, and REST controllers, and relational databases using JPA. Each concept, I'll explain its purpose, why it was challenging, and what I learned, and where it's used in the code. So, concept one is testing with mocking unit testing. The purpose in the project, the testing is used to verify that the service layer logic works correctly. In this project, I use unit testing to test business logic without relying on the database. The reason why it was challenging is because I initially thought testing required real data in a real database. It was confusing to understand how tests could work without interacting with the full system. What I learned is that good tests isolate one layer at a time. By mocking dependencies, I control the input, I predict the output, and I test logic consistently. This changed how I think about testing. I now focus on behavior instead of the entire system. And the associated files are the uh, user service test, user entity test, and the Rocket Food application test. Mocking allows me to test logic independently and reliably. The second concept that I had a challenge with was the MVC controller versus the REST API controller. So MVC stands for Model View Controller. It separates an application into model data. The view for the UI and the controller actually handles the request. The purpose in the project, this project actually uses two controller types. We have MVC controllers, and those return the HTML views. And then I have the REST controllers, which return JSON. So the reason why it was challenging because both controllers look similar. At first, I didn't understand why both were needed. What I learned is that the same backend logic can serve different clients. MVC is for user-facing interfaces, and REST is for APIs and external systems. This helped me understand a separation of concerns. So, just to take a quick glance here, we have the for our controllers, we have these two files here. We have the home controller, and then we also have the restaurant controller, and then we have the uh, restaurant REST controller. So all these handle different things. So this is for the home page when you go to localhost 88. This is for the MVC, and this actually handles the APIs here. So, and now we're going to go into challenging concept number 3. And this concept that was challenging for number 3 was the relational database implementation with JPA. So what JPA stands for is Java Persistence API. It allows Java applications to interact with relational databases using objects instead of SQL. And the purpose of the project is JPA simplifies database operations by allowing me to use Java methods like save method, the find all method, and the delete by ID method instead of writing SQL series queries manually. The reason why it was challenging is because JPI abstracts SQL. At first, I didn't understand how queries were generated or how data was stored. What I learned is that JPA uses method names and annotations to generate queries automatically. So the find by name becomes SQL, and save handles inserts and updates. And I also learned how Java objects map to database tables. So, and this another important concept is about the database relationships. So we have one-to-one where one record relates to one record, one-to-many where one record relates to many, which is the most common, and then many-to-one where many records relate to one record, and many-to-many where many records relate to many. This helped me understand how real-world data is structured across multiple tables. So these files that are associated with here are in the repository. And then each of these controls different elements of the database here. So that concludes my challenges for this module. Thank you for your time.